love lasagna, and sometimes people think that if they want to be healthy, they have to give up lasagna. And that isn't necessarily so. The important thing is to always use whole food ingredients. What I have found that works really good is these little brown rice, lasagna pasta noodles. And since it has brown rice, it's unprocessed rice. It's not brown colored rice, but it is rice that still has its bran and its germ. So it's more nutritious. And you want that extra nutrition. Every time you eat something that doesn't have all its parts, you're losing nutrition. So I'm going to be using these, and I'm going to also be using our cheese recipe. Two of our cheese recipes are Parma Jon, which is, we have a video on that, and then the Odie cheese, and that's a vegan creamy like cheese that we have a recipe for that one also. So the first step is to put these in boiling water. There, I also want to mention that you can make the recipe without pre-cooking them, but you need to add a little extra liquid, maybe another can of tomato sauce or a cup of water or something, or both, and to make sure that the noodles will have the moisture that they need to absorb. So I'm going to cook these. While my water gets hot, I'm going to grate the zucchini that I'm going to be using in this recipe. By grating this by hand, I'm getting my cardio workout, and it's also a lot less trouble having to wash the appliance after you've cut it up. Now the next step is to add several of the ingredients into a large mixing bowl. Now the first ingredient is some salt cured olives. These are the black ones. I like these. I get them at Sprouts. And the only ingredients is olives, water, and salt. So you don't have that yucky flavor that a lot of vinegar cured olives have. So there's my olives. I pre-sliced those. Then we need our mushrooms. These are some fresh shiitakes that I cut up. Then we need some tomato sauce. I'm going to use for today, I get this at Whole Foods, the organic tomato sauce. It has the organic label on it. And if you want to, you can always add more sauce later on. In fact, I'm keeping handy a can of crushed Roma tomatoes in case I want a little more moisture. So we have those, and then we need our salt. I mixed, this is my salt, sage, paprika. Let's see, 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of sage, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 2 teaspoons of dry Italian seasoning mix, and it's all together in there. And then we also need our onion slices. This is about the equivalent of 1 large onion. maybe a little bit more. These were small onions, so I used about 3 smaller onions. And we're going to mix that together. And also our garlic press. Now this really doesn't look like there's enough sauce in this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add this other can of sauce. And I'm going to reserve a little bit of the sauce, this can, to put in the bottom of our dish. The dish that we're going to be cooking this in. Now that I have the onions and olives well coated and the mushrooms all mixed together, I'm going to move to our other bowl. Now in this bowl, I'm going to mix the cheese, in this bowl I'm going to mix the cheese and our zucchini. And with the cheese, I usually like to make it ahead, and what I'll do, I can make it several days in advance and then put it in the freezer. That's, if you look, you can see a chunk here. That is frozen. That saves time when you're cooking. If you didn't want to use the entire recipe, what you can do is just break off a chunk when you take it out of the freezer. What I do is I put it in a Ziploc bag and lay it flat in the freezer so that it will be easy to break apart. And it can keep for weeks in the freezer. You can just break off what you need, like for a sandwich or something like that. And in this recipe, I'm using a double batch of the Odie cheese. And what the zucchini will do is, as it cooks, it will kind of give the cheese a stringy type texture. As you serve it up, it'll look more like dairy cheese. By not using the dairy cheese, you can avoid a lot of problems: cholesterol, high fat, and anytime you can cut animal products out of your diet, you're going to find yourself, you're going to have more energy, you're going to be cleaning out your arteries, and you're going to feel so much better. So now I'm ready to assemble the lasagna. The first step is I want to put the remainder of this can of sauce in the bottom so that the noodles won't stick. And I put some cold water in the noodles so that I don't burn myself. I can see that I definitely put in too much of the onions on the bottom layer, so I'm going to be a little short on the top. Yeah, I am definitely a little short on that top layer. But it's all going to taste the same. Now what I could do is I could put in some kind of vegetable or something there. Or I could just leave it like that. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I hope it doesn't turn into a lava flow in the oven. Now what I have done here, I've taken my aluminum foil, I laid one right on top of the other, and then I folded their edges together so that, kind of like how a seamstress would do, to make one extra wide piece. And what I'm wanting to do is have the foil stay off of the food. That way there's no chemical reaction with the aluminum. So this way there's kind of a dome over it. And that will prevent some chemical reactions that might go on between the food and the aluminum. And I'm going to put this in the oven and bake it for 350 degrees Fahrenheit until it's hot and bubbly.